Hello! Some books are really simple to understand, others are really confusing all the way through. And some books are really confusing to start off with, but then gradually, almost teasingly, they get explained as you read more and more. My name's Alexander, and today I'm going to review Never Let Me Go by Kazuo Ishiguro. It was published in 2005 and it's about 300 pages long, and you could probably call it a romance novel. Although I think it's better described under the genre of alternate history, though that only really becomes obvious in the later part of the book. Plot summary! The story is centred around three people: Kathy, Ruth and Tommy, with Kathy being the main character and the narrator of the story. We follow these three people in their lives from their childhood throughout their adolescence and witness a certain love triangle develop between them. But at the same time, neither our protagonist nor the people around them seem to lead very normal lives. They grow up in a kind of boarding school, apparently with no contact with their parents. This is one of the mysteries that is gradually explained as you progress further into the book. But on this channel, I don't do spoilers. The story's a very moving one, but I will say that it's the kind of book that most people would probably call a girl's book. All prejudice about male and female likings aside, I think you probably know what I mean. There's a lot of romance, feeling and friendship involved, and the main character spends a lot of time analysing the reactions of her friends in certain situations in an attempt to try and guess what they must be feeling at that time. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, or that it's only for girls, or that all girls will like it, or anything like that. But at the same time, I know that a lot of boys can't get themselves to read this kind of book. Now, on top of it being a good story, the strong point of the book is that it also touches on some very interesting philosophical issues, especially towards the end, about the ethics of life and death. Sadly, I can't talk about any of that without spoiling the end of the book, so allow me to be vague and just say that this book raises some very unique questions about life and death. And by unique, I mean really unique, i.e. stuff that you've probably never given much thought to before. Finally, let me say a word about the way it's written. I mentioned earlier that there's a lot of emphasis on emotions and on Kathy's ability to read the faces around her. And maybe I'm a bad judge with me being male and everything, but to me it really felt like it was a woman telling the story. Which is bloody impressive given that the author is male. I should also point out that Kathy is telling the story from the future. That is, everything she tells us are things that she remembers from the past. So occasionally there is this discrepancy between the way she remembers something and the way Tommy or Ruth will remember it, which is exactly how memory works. So together, these two things make the story feel really immersive and real, something that's very important for a story that wants to be moving. Final thoughts on the book? As I said, I think it's probably aimed mainly at girls. But if you like romance, friendship or difficult philosophical questions, then regardless of your gender, I would highly recommend this. Although I should warn you, if you're a very emotional person, you might cry a bit. That ends my review of Never Let Me Go. Hope you enjoyed the review and see you soon.